Hello, my beautiful fragrance family. Dustin here, fragrance fan. Go ahead and do me a solid and click that like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell notification. And I'm just going to keep on bringing you guys these budget-friendly fragrance reviews, that 40-ish and under dollar range. And most of these, way less than that. A good number of these you can find at your local rack stores. These are the classics that I have today that I think are still relevant today, that I personally like a lot, that I personally still wear fairly often. I think they're still relevant, but scents are subjective. I'm going to say some in here that I'm going to get negative comments. I almost do every time, but these specifically, because they can be a little controversial. But I'm here to give you my honest opinion on a couple fragrances that are old school and I think still good, timeless, and relevant, and worth checking out. So first up, let's go with Versace Blue Jeans. I don't have the cap to this anymore, and this one it's got a nice citrus juniper opening, but along with that citrus juniper, there's a bunch of different citruses, tart citrus. Along with that citrus green piney juniper, there's basil, which gives it like, it doesn't make it that normal, typical citrus, juniper, green, woody thing. That basil takes it in a whole nother direction. And there's a bit of sweetness in here, amber vanilla, and that comes out more in the dry down. The floral heart is there the whole time, and that amber vanilla, you get hints of it in the beginning, and 2 or 3 hours into this thing, it becomes 40-50% stronger, while still holding on to a lot of the fresh, green, spicy, citrus kind of things that are going on in the top. A quick way to sum this up, Gain pods, like the laundry detergent Gain, those pods, this has a lot of similarity to that. So this is just going to be bullet points. I'm not going to go over like super details, but that's this one in a nutshell. Performance is decent. I get good 5 hours out of it, and it's a very versatile, works in the heat too. Up next, Hon Z14. This one is sharp lemon, cypress, spicy, woody heart kind of a fragrance with a masculine, musky, earthy leather base. Let me get a fresh whiff of this, and good atomizer too. Yeah, that sharp lemon cypress and that earthy mossy thing going on in this whole thing, just holding it all together, just keeps this thing super masculine. There's a million notes in these old school fragrances. This one came out in like the 70s, and it falls in like the same category of like Drakkar, like that kind of thing with like all the green pines and stuff like that. But this has a bit more of a woodiness, more of a dry, woody, earthy thing going on. So again, it is a sharp, spicy, lemon cypress kind of an opening with a good dose of like green pines and stuff like that, dry woods, masculine, mossy leather base. This one is a very masculine fragrance, pretty loud, pretty long lasting, and just it's got a good dose of class, and it's a confident kind of wear too. So Hon Z14, I think, to me, is still relevant, and I enjoy that fragrance a lot. Up next, I think this one's going to be one of the controversial ones, to be honest, more than the other two, really. The original Issey Miyake DSY. It's got yuzu, it's green, it's got like aquatic lotus, it's got some woody vetiver in it. A lot of people are going to say that this thing isn't all that good. I still think it's very relevant. The yuzu citrus makes it not your absolute typical bergamot kind of a citrus opening. It has bergamot in it, but the yuzu gives it like a softer touch with a little bit of a sweetness. And there's a ton of notes in this one too, a lot of florals and stuff like that. And there's like really, for being as bright and fresh and woody and citrusy, it's not very sharp for having all that stuff. I think some of the florals might like sand down some of the edges of what can potentially be sharp notes in this. This is like the classy old school version of like Acqua di Gio, in my opinion, because it came out around the same time, but this one doesn't have any of the real I think the Lotus gives us an aquatic touch, but it's not as aquatic as like Acqua di Gio. This leans heavier on the woody side. I just think overall I like this thing. It's a great gym fragrance in my opinion. It's almost perfect for the gym. It's very refreshing and refined and has that masculine touch with a little bit of a class. And I wore it on my run, and I was enjoying every second of the way it smelled. Just a couple sprays, but it's so light, it doesn't perform very much. It's like a 3-hour fragrance now, And so you can spray away with this thing, but I still think this one is relevant, and you can find it for a pretty affordable price too. And up next, one, I just love this one in the high heat. It's a great fragrance, again, for like the gym, but this one you might want to go a little bit lighter on the sprays because it's a bit stronger, and that is Azzaro Chrome, the OG original Azzaro Chrome, sharp citrus rosemary spice combination. Some of that sweet, like almost creamy neroli, hints of earth, just little bits of earth, little bits of that cedar. It somehow has a like an airiness, and if you overspray it, it can kind of become sour because the sharp citrus is in here. I don't know if it's the combination between the citruses and the rosemary, but something can turn it sour if you do too much. It doesn't bother me, but I can see it bothering some people. But it's somehow light and airy at the same time being sharp citrus, rosemary, woody. Another classic fragrance, came out, I'm probably gonna be wrong, sometime in the 90s. We'll just say that. So it's a classic fragrance, and the performance on it is not too bad. It's a 5-hour fragrance, but man, this thing is just great for the high heat, the warm temperatures. There's something about these fresh fragrances that don't have any sweetness in them that just do it for me. I don't know what it is. I think maybe because it's so hot here in Florida, that sweetness can be a little bit polarizing, but these ones don't have any kind of sweet. I mean, this has a little bit of sweetness, but for the most part, they're not sweet, if you know what I mean. They're mostly based on that freshness. This one is not a fresh fragrance, but you know what I mean. There's nothing playful in any of these fragrances. They are masculine fragrances that are classic, that I still think are good today. Still made with decent quality, reformulated, sure, but again, still good today. So that's my final thoughts on 4 classic fragrances that I still wear fairly regularly. If you see these in the wild, if you have them, let me know what you think about these fragrances. And with that, I'm out. Y'all be blessed. Take care of yourself always. And until next time.